I'm so excited you've chosen to work with watercolors as your center. I want to give you a few ideas about techniques that you can use to be successful in your painting. When you paint with watercolors, there are different brushes. We talked about this last week. There's a large brush, it's called the mop brush. There's a medium-sized brush. You can tell the difference when you look at them. And then there's a little bit more of a detail brush where it's a little bit smaller, not much, but just a touch. So when you're painting today, I want you to think about the different sizes and what you could use them for. When you need to cover a big space, use this mop brush. For example, I wet my brush and I wipe it on the side of this bucket here. Remember to roll or twist your brush in the paint. I'm going to create a wash. That means I'm going to cover a lot of space with the same color. I want my color to be smooth. Remember, when you're painting, to try to keep your paintbrush standing tall. Don't scrub with your paintbrush. You see what Miss Runyon's doing? This is terrible for your paper. Look at this. It's going to rip a hole. And it's bad news for your hair, for your brush. My wash, and when you create a wash, needs to have a smooth color. I used paint and I worked very quickly to create this. The next technique that you can use is called dry brush. I like to use dry brush when I need details. Notice Miss Runyon is carefully getting some of the extra water off her paintbrush. I'm going to get just a little bit of red paint on the tip of my paintbrush, and I'm going to create some wiggly lines that are really skinny, really thin. Maybe they're straight. This is dry brush. When my brush has very little water and I can use it carefully to create some details. This is a really good idea to use. Say you are painting trees. Notice I'm still rolling it in the paintbrush, in the green paint. But when I'm painting leaves on a tree, I might want to add some wiggles and squiggles like this on top of the green wash. And I can have more detail on my tree after the wash dries. Now there's another way to paint, and it's called wet on wet. This is fun because you get to paint your paper with water, like I'm doing, just with water, and then I come along and roll my paintbrush or twist it in the paint. I'm going to put wet paint on wet paper. It blends very well. I'm going to add a little bit of blue down here. Let me roll it in my paint. And I can blend my colors really easily, so I can change from this blue paint to the green paint and nobody even knows. There's a good transition because I put clear water on the paper first. Now maybe I'm going to use wet on dry, and this is kind of like that wash where I have the wet brush, and again I'm going to roll it in the paint or twist it. My paper's dry this time. Let's see the difference. Okay, so my green is a little bit brighter this time. Let's see about my blue. My blue is a little bit brighter, and they blend okay. If you want a smooth blend, if you want soft colors, use wet on wet. If you want dry colors, brighter colors, use the dry paper. When you are done painting, you'll need to put clean water in your bucket so that the next class is ready to paint today, and be respectful of them. You'll need to use your paper towel or a rag to wipe up all the mess on your table so that the next group of friends has a dry space to work on. I look forward to seeing your watercolor paintings. Have fun today.